بالله العلي العظيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين رحمة للعالمين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الهداة المهديين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من يوم ظلمهم إلى قيام يوم الدين اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا صلوا على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is already the night of Tasu'a, the 9th night of the month of Muharram, and tomorrow night shall be the night of Ashura, the 10th night of the month of Muharram. Before I begin, I'm reminded of a hadith of Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam, where one of his companions came to him on the day of Tasu'a, that's tomorrow, the day of the 9th of Muharram. And Imam alayhi salam was found to be in a very sad state. Imam was weeping, Imam was sad, he was in sorrow. And the person asked Imam, Mawla, why are you in this state? What happened? And Imam alayhi salam lifted a veil from a very important reality of the Masa'ib of the 9th day of the month of Muharram. We usually hear the Masa'ib of the night of Ashura, the Shab Ashur, right? And the day of Ashur. But the 9th day of Ashura, I would like to begin with this today. Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam mentions to him, today is the day when Husira fihi al-Hussein. Hussein alayhi salam, his envelope of enemies was complete. There was a day that all of those from Yazid's army who were supposed to make it to the plains of Karbala, they made it on the 9th of Muharram. Some came on the 2nd of Muharram. Some came on the 4th of Muharram. Some came bit by bit, battalion by battalion. But on the 9th day, when no other tribe was very ready and showing readiness to ally with the Imam alayhi salam, and all of the enemies who were preparing to fight Imam al-Hussein, they had gathered in the plains of Karbala, the enemies were rejoicing at that time. And they were celebrating their preeminent victory. And that was the day that Imam alayhi salam was completely surrounded by his enemies. And Imam as-Sadiq tells us, Bi-abil mazloom al-gharib, may I be sacrificed for the one who is mazloom and who is gharib, the one who has been cut off from any source of help and support, the one who has become oppressed. Inshallah, tomorrow's day is also a very sad day, inshallah, as it's a weekend as well, inshallah. We commemorate it in a style that is similar to the style of the day of Ashura, inshallah. Wa ta'ala, sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, we've been walking with the Ashab of Imam for the past 9 days. And we've been traveling with the companions of the Imam and wanting to develop our thinking to become Hussayni, and our actions to become Hussayni, and our life overall to become a Hussayni lifestyle. We've discussed many different concepts, ideas, paradigms that will help us align ourselves more and more with how Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam used to think and how he used to act. And inshallah, we are able to apply these concepts, these lessons as well. In today's discussion that we would like to have about shifting our thoughts towards a Husseini paradigm, we find Imam al-Hussein, despite being a busy man, despite being the Imam, despite being the leader, he was somebody who would pay very close attention to the children and to the youth of his family and of his community. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was somebody who adored the youth and the children. And it is very natural because he himself as a child was adored and shown love by Rasulullah. Where on one hand, Rasulullah, when Imam al-Hasan and Imam Hussein would enter the masjid, he would get off the mimbar and lift them up and go sit on the mimbar to show the people the importance of not only his grandsons, but also the importance of children. When Imam al-Hasan or Imam al-Hussein would come and Rasulullah would be praying salat and in the state of sujood, they would come climb on his back. Rasulullah would not shoo them away. Rather, he would extend and elongate and prolong his sujood by repeating Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdi, the dhikr of sujood. But he would wait till the children would get off themselves. And it is not only love that Rasulullah showed to his own grandsons, but it is also love that he would show to children across Medina, whether they were children of the Ashab and they were Muslim, or even non-Muslim children. We had Christians living in Medina. We had Jews living in Medina side by side the Muslims. And Rasulullah would show love to all children. To that extent that Rasulullah tells his Ashab, I want you all to follow me in my sunnah. And one of the things that I want to make as a sunnah is for the elders to reach out and say salam to the kids. Rasulullah would be the first one to go to the kids and say salamun alaykum. Rasulullah, who? The best person on earth, the best of Allah's creation, the epitome of human and divine mercy, Rasulullah. He would go. Indeed, it is important for my younger brothers and sisters as well to keep in mind that when they see elders, they need to go and say salams to them as well. But it's two ways. It's not that the children should wait that the elders would say salams to them, or neither should the elders wait that the children would come and say salams to them. This is one of the first ingredients of creating a community that is close-knit. The moment you see each other, you say salamun alaykum, naturally, and with such warmth that the other person can feel the sincerity with which you're saying salamun alaykum to them. This is step one. These are the bare basics of building a community. We find that Rasulullah insisted so much on showing love and mercy to the children to that extent that he shows us how important is Salat al-Jama'ah at awwal time. You tell me. How important it is? Very important, correct? One day Rasulullah was leaving home to go towards the masjid. It was Salat time. And as he was passing by the streets of Medina, children came around him and they started to play with Rasulullah. They started to play with Rasulullah, right? Rasulullah, mercy. Mercy for all humanity, mercy for the worlds, for the alameen. What does he do? The kids come around and circle him and say, Kun jamali, be our camel. And Rasulullah plays with them. He takes one on, puts one off, puts one on, puts one off. They all, when they have played enough, the ashab on the other hand are waiting in the masjid to pray Salat al-Jama'ah with Rasulullah. They're worried, what happened? Rasulullah is usually here right on time. What happened today? They send somebody, they send Bilal, and they say, oh Bilal, go find where Rasulullah is. He's usually here on time. So Bilal goes looking for Rasulullah. When he finds Rasulullah in the streets playing with the children are not ready to give up Rasulullah, right? How many kids, when they're in the heat of the game, when you tell them, Baba, it's namaz time, are they ready to leave their games right away? It's rare. Similarly, kids are now, they're playing with the greatest man on earth, the greatest man in history. They don't want to give up Rasulullah. And Rasulullah does not want to break their heart and walk away. So what do they do? Stalemate. Here, Bilal comes in and says, Rasulullah, the companions are waiting for you. So here Rasulullah says, Bilal, go to my house. There is some walnuts in my house. Grab them and bring them over. Walnuts for those kids in that time was like candy, like chocolate. Right? They didn't have chocolate like Lindt chocolate or other kinds of chocolate back then. So they had walnuts, and they were healthy actually. Better than chocolate, you have walnuts fresh. It's natural, right? So here Bilal comes and says, and Rasulullah then tells him, pretend play with them. Ask them, can I buy Rasulullah off you in exchange for these walnuts? What's going on here? This is a course in psychology, just one story of Rasulullah. How to deal with kids with mercy, how to balance your wajibat and your mustahabbat with the attitude with kids. A whole lesson on its own. Here, Salat al-Jama'ah, awwal time, that is so mustahab, is on one side. And Rasulullah, he knows what's mustahab more and what's mustahab less, right? Here, Rasulullah tells him, the kids, when they see walnuts, they buy Rasulullah, they sell Rasulullah off for walnuts, and Rasulullah now has been freed. The kids are happy, they go home, and Rasulullah is walking with Bilal towards the masjid. And here, Rasulullah has left us with a very important lesson. To pray Salat al-Jama'ah, awwal time, is very important. But even more important than that is that we do not break a child's heart. More important than Salat al-Jama'ah in Masjid al-Nabawi at awwal time. More important than that thawab is the thawab of protecting and maintaining the dignity and honor of a child. Brothers and sisters, this is the seerah of Rasulullah. This, when Imam Hussein has seen, he likewise acts in a similar way with his family, with his kids. And today's discussion will be about this, my dear brothers and sisters. On one hand, I would like to talk about strategies to deal with children, but I'll spend less time on that. More so, I'll spend more time on strategies for youths, inshallah ta'ala. There's a beautiful hadith of Imam Maulana Imam As-Sadiq alayhi afdalu salati was salam, where he divides the stages of child upbringing into three pieces, three portions. He says, "Da'a ibnaka yal'ab sab'a sinin." Leave your child to play for 7 years. And I'll translate what this means. وَيُؤَدَّبْ سَبْعًا, and he needs to be taught etiquette for 7 years.
وَأَلْزِمْهُ نَفْسَكَ سَبْعَ سِنِينَ, and then keep him close to yourself for 7 years. فَإِنْ أَفْلَحَ, if he is successful, وَإِلَّا فَإِنَّهُ مَنْ لَا خَيْرَ فِيهِ. If the child is successful, has gone through that training for these 21 years, 777, then inshallah there's khair. But if the child does not see that kind of training, then there is a deficiency there. Now, obviously, this is an ideal state, and this is specifically, generally applicable for parents who are just going to have kids or they've just had kids. Yeah? So that they can pre-plan and forecast the 3 7-year periods. First 7-year period, the focus that Imam says should be on play. دَعْ إِبْنَكَ يَلْعَبْ سَبْعَ سِنِينَ. Let your child play for 7 years. It's very important that anything and everything that the children do in the first 7 years is centered on play. Maria Montessori, the Italian educationist, she seems to have had either intuition, or it seems like she saw this hadith of Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam. She has developed a learning system for children below the age of 7, her Montessori method, all based on play and learn. What did the Aimma tell us? When you want to teach your kids skills, teach them through play. If you want to teach your children etiquette, teach them through play. If you want to teach your children the day-to-day habits, teach them through play. دَعْ إِبْنَكَ يَلْعَبْ سَبْعَ سِنِينَ. But let your child free to play. Now, obviously, on one extreme, if it is life-threatening and dangerous, yes, don't leave him free or her free so that it becomes life-threatening. All right? But there are times when parents, because of their own convenience, and say, I am tired from work, I can't tolerate kids jumping and laughing and crying and making noise. Here we are going against, by limiting the freedom of the children to play, we're going against the recommendation of the Imam. First 7 years, they need to be given freedom to explore themselves, to explore the world around them. And the main method through which they do this is through play. The next 7 years are crucial. We're now by 7 years of age, which is around grade 2 right now. The children have now developed a great sense of identity. They have a sense of their gender. They have a sense of their family. They have a sense of who their parents are. They have a sense of who their cultural community is. They have a sense of their extended family. They have a sense of their religious beliefs as well. At this point, Imam alayhi salam says, وَيُؤَدَّبْ سَبْعًا. Teach them the primary etiquettes for 7 years. Now, when we talk about etiquettes is the very detailed parts of religion. Adab, as the hadith says, please recite the salawat and move forward, please. Allahumma Adab is the word that is more specific than akhlaq. Akhlaq is simply character. But adab is fine character. When you fine-tune a person's character, it's called etiquette. When they know exactly how to sit in a majlis, when they know exactly when a person is reciting masaib on the mimbar, they know that if they can't cry, they should at least act as if they're crying. This is called adab. This is called adab, the etiquette of a majlis, right? But in general, these are detailed things, and these have to come through direct instruction to the kids. They won't at times pick it up from the parents. The parents have to mention it. Sometimes we take it for granted. You know, why aren't you following me? Well, you didn't tell me. Mom, Dad, please make it clear to me. And it's best for the parents with love and affection to tell and remind the kids about these etiquettes. Etiquettes of sitting on a sufra, how to eat their meal, how to start with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, how to have salt before starting. These are the different etiquettes of life. There's a beautiful book translated by Shaykh Tahir Rida Ja'far, which has been written by Allama Tabatabai, called Sunan and Nabi. In English, it's available. Beautiful book. It has the sunnah of the Holy Prophet for everything, even not only from eating and drinking to visiting the washroom, but to even combing the hair. The etiquettes of Rasulullah are detailed in this book, Sunan and Nabi by Allama Tabatabai, translated by Shaykh Tahir Rida Ja'far. It's available probably on alislam.org as well. Something for parents to look at and try one at a time, implement it as a family. Well, let's make it a point. Every day or every week, let's take one adab and etiquette of Rasulullah, one sunnah of Rasulullah, and let's try and apply it into our lives. The 7-year period is very crucial, my dear brothers and sisters, because now, and given that the kids are growing up in a society that is not completely Islamic, this period of 7 years becomes very crucial. Very crucial. From age 2 to age 9, from grade 2 to grade 9, from age 7 to age 14. This is the time period that this etiquette is not only the wajibat, but also the mustahabbat, but wajibat come first. The child needs to be taught the akhlaq and the wajibat of their personal hygiene, especially girls and boys as they're becoming baligh. I'm not sure if this community has bulugh classes, but I'm sure madrasa may have a session or two to teach kids, boys and girls segregated separately, talking about these hygienic issues. These are issues that the children need to know about. There are details that can't be covered on the mimbar. There are details that sometimes parents also don't realize that they need to talk to their kids about. Or maybe they don't have the proper information and knowledge to be able to share it with their children. Well, this is important. Your child is becoming baligh now, whether it's a girl becoming baligh at 9 or a boy. As I mentioned earlier, now boys are becoming baligh at around 12, 13 years of age. Some boys may not even know the etiquette or the tartib and the sequence of doing ghusl of janaba. These are things that need to be taught to the children in this 7-year period. And as they're in the public system and as they're exposed to the shahawat that are pulling them away from the halal towards the haram, but not only the haram, they're actually being pulled towards the unnatural haram as well. And I hope you understand what I mean by the unnatural haram. There's a verse in the Quran that tells us, وَالَّذِينَ يَتَّبِعُونَ الشَّهَوَاتِ وَيُرِيدُ الَّذِينَ يَتَّبِعُونَ الشَّهَوَاتِ أَن تَمِيلُوا مَيْلًا عَظِيمًا. Those people, and this is an industry, my dear brothers and sisters. There's an industry out there. There is an industry that has an intent, there is an irada, there is a will to do what? To follow the shahawat and to make others follow the shahawat as well. You know exactly what I'm talking about. This industry, these individuals who follow the shahawat themselves, want everybody else to be embroiled and engrossed and completely immersed in their haram, ladhat and shahawat and pleasures. This is an industry. And Allah is saying, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَن يُخَفِّفَ عَنْكُمْ. Allah knows that there is this happening for you. And Allah wants to make it easy for you. وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. And insan, the human, has been created weak. Oh Allah, if we have been created weak in front of all of these passions and desires and shahawat, what is our way out? What will make us strong? The verse is before this verse. They all talk about marriage. I'll let you look at the Holy Quran, and I will leave it here, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, our children, there was a time when some of these discussions used to be held. In our culture, there's a culture of having a best man when the groom gets ready, called the anyar, right? The elders will correct me. In Gujarati, they call him the anyar, right? And in obviously English, we call him the best man. And the best man has the job that is not the very best job to do as well. All right? In the culture that we had, there would be a briefing, right? But nowadays, our kids are exposed to those things that would be discussed by our best men. They are now being taught at grade 6 level in the public system. Grade 6 level. How old is your child? 11 years old. How soon are they being taught these things? At least 10 years before time. 10 years before time, their minds are being filled with these things that culturally our older generations have had access to or have been told about at age 18 and above. Brothers and sisters, these are challenges. If I don't talk about these on the mimbar, I will be doing a disservice to the children of the communities. I will be doing a disservice to the soldiers of the Imam of our time. These kids need to be maintained with purity so that they can make it to the soldiers and be in the camp of the Imam. It may seem very controversial for me to talk about this from the mimbar, but this is the reality out there. And inshallah, we will take steps to address these issues. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, and then comes the third 7-year period from age 14 to age 21. And here Imam alayhi salam says, وَأَلْزِمْهُ نَفْسَكَ سَبْعَ سِنِينَ. Keep your child from age 14 to 21 close to you. What does it mean? Close to you. In this culture, children don't like to be kept close to the parents. And you can tell that. Once the child hits age 12, 13, they have a friend circle. They actually slowly move towards a situation where they're more comfortable sharing their personal secrets with their friends rather than with their own parents. So what do you do? On one hand, Imam is saying, Alzimhu nafsaka sab'a sinin. What does Imam mean here to begin with? There are different ahadith that talk about the third 7-year period as well. And another hadith which breaks these 21 years into 3 7-year periods says the third 7-year period is the period of making your son or daughter your vizier. What does that wazir mean? A minister. What does the prime minister do when he sets up the portfolios for the ministries? He says, I will oversee, but you are responsible for this portfolio. Minister of Immigration, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Defense, right? So what does that minister do? He is given the whole authority to make decisions on the matter. But what does the prime minister do? The prime minister is holding and watching over exactly everything that the minister is doing. The minister has freedom, but it's supervised. Exactly the same way, children who are now youths, 14 onwards to 21, we as parents need to treat them like this. We give them responsibilities that are appropriate for their level. Starting at age 14, give them a responsibility that is appropriate for their level. Cleaning up the garage. Right? Some of the youth will look at me and say, Maulana, you had to say that on the mimbar. Right? Moving forward, there are bigger responsibilities. Right now, youths, mashallah, are capable of doing so much more than we can even realize. And I'll give you an example. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, and before I continue with the story, in schools, kids are taught leadership skills. Well, here is how Rasulullah is teaching youths leadership skills. The representative that Rasulullah, while he's in Mecca, he's not migrated to Medina yet. The people of Medina come to Rasulullah, say, we want to learn Islam. We want you to send us somebody who can teach us Islam. Rasulullah had so many older people, senior people, with a lot of experience. What did Rasulullah do? He picked a youth. He said, come. And he sent that person to Medina. He was less than 21 years old. A youth. As the representative of Rasulullah to go and teach the people of Medina about Islam. And this is not the only case. Wherever Rasulullah has sent people on a mission to teach and preach Islam, he's mostly sent the youth. When Imam Ali alayhi salam was sent to Yemen as Rasulullah's representative, Imam Ali was less than 35 years old. Less than 35. He was given a mission to be the representative of Rasulullah in Yemen. And he carried out his duties as a youth with such accuracy that the people of Yemen, over a span of a week, all of them converted to Islam. The youth, they have immense power, immense potential. If our A'imma, if our Prophet is telling us, tap into the potential of the youth, well, we need to tap into the potential of the youth. Brothers and sisters, there are so many stories. I'll go one by one into this. But keeping in mind, when it comes to the youth, there is one thing we need to be aware of them. Let us look at them with a positive lens. Let us look and consider the youth to be productive, contributing members of the community. Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam had a companion who was sent to Basra to invite the people to the message of the Ahlul Bayt. The people of Basra were not really followers of the Ahlul Bayt at that time. Imam sends his companion, and when he returns, the Imam says, how did you see the reaction of the people to our message? The message of Haqq. He said, it was very lukewarm. It wasn't how I expected it would be. Imam said, don't be disheartened. And he said, alaykum bil ahdath. It is your responsibility. I ordain you. I make it wajib upon you to go and seek the ahdath. Ahdath means the youth. And the Imam tells us a reason why you should invest most of your energies as an Islamic institution, as a community, on the youth. Because Imam says, فَإِنَّهُمْ أَسْرَعُ لِكُلِّ خَيْرٍ. They are the fastest when it comes to any good deed, any good affair, any good initiative. Brothers and sisters, there's so many initiatives that I've come to know that within this community. The youth body that is, alhamdulillah, united the different centers' youths, they're carrying out, mashallah, feeding the needy on one hand, organizing events, mashallah. It's impressive. And there is room for growth as well. And keeping in mind the youth are fresh, and when the ruh and the spirit of Iman comes into it, they are now in that direction of Iman with full throttle energy. They will drive the community. They will help the community flourish. It is our responsibility to trust and put that confidence in the youth, inshallah ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, I will go over some ahadith very quickly, or just the gist of the ahadith. I know time has run out already. But I was wanting to share a whole package that the Ahlul Bayt have offered for youth engagement in the community. And it's based on this premise of looking at the youth positively and that they are the fastest towards any good deed. Imam alayhi salam says, number one need of the youth is learning. There are many hadiths that say that when a youth or a child learns in that age, it's like a naqshu fil hajar. It's like engraving on stone. Whereas if an older person was to be given a workshop or an opportunity to learn, it's like writing on water. These hadiths are saying this. There are places where the Aimma alayhimus salam have encouraged. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Please recite another loud salawat and move closer. The Aimma alayhimus salam have encouraged learning, and learning in all dimensions. On one hand, religious learning, so that the children are aware of the ahadith and the sciences of the Ahlul Bayt, to that extent that Imams would take it very firmly and they would say, I would be very upset if I were to see a youth not engaging in religious knowledge and religious learning. Imam would be very upset. If Imam as-Sadiq is saying this, I'm sure Imam Sahib al-Amr means the same thing as well. He is very upset with the youth not spending time and engaging in updating and upgrading themselves. Why in every profession we have professional development, but when it comes to religion, we take it very lightly? He will learn. She will learn. Aa jayega, seekh jayega. Well, we need professional development, rather personal development. This is our life. Our religion is our life. Don't we need regular updates? Well, your software, your Norton antivirus needs a regular update. Your religious learning doesn't need one. If your antivirus is not upgraded, your computer may be on the verge of crashing. Well, take it like that. Your iman may be on the verge of crashing. Update it, please. Inshallah ta'ala. There was a group of people in the time of Imam as-Sadiq called the Murji'ah. And these Murji'ah were borderline, a mix of atheists, a mix of their views were not completely Islamic. And they were people who were deviated from the right path. And Imam alayhi salam would tell his companions and tell the Shia, make sure you reach your kids before the Murji'ah reach your kids. What does that mean? Make sure you teach your children the proper values in youth before another ideology comes over and takes over the place before you do. Because an empty land, if you don't plow it and sow seeds into it, it's ready for any seed to come into it. But if we do not lay the seed and the groundwork in the hearts and minds of our children and our youth on the basis of Islam, then be prepared, whether it's secular learning or secular teachings or it's pluralism or it's liberalism or any other ism, if that takes root in the heart of our children, then it will be very difficult to uproot it and replace it with Islam. Brothers and sisters, Aimma alayhimus salam have stressed religious learning of youth. And this is something that is a need for the children and the youth. But not only religious learning. The Aimma have stressed all kinds of skill learning as well. It's deen and dunya together. It's not only deen. Dunya goes alongside deen as well. The Aimma have, and I will not go into the ahadith right now. To that extent, the Aimma have not only expected the youths to learn skills and trades and whatever profession they can go into, especially they have expected to keep their minds fresh, to be taught debating skills. Teach your children to debate. your youths to debate. Why? Why debating? Well, have you debated with your adolescent at home? They're very powerful when it comes to reasoning. And when they want something a certain way, they'll have their reasons all lined up. The first one doesn't work, the second one is ready. The second one doesn't work, the third one is ready. The third one doesn't work, the fourth one is ready. Eventually, mommy or daddy will submit. Right? Happens. Right? Their minds are sharp. Imam is saying, use this sharpness of their mind in a positive, productive way. Give them fodder that is based on higher principles and higher concepts. In those days, in the times of the Imams, one of the companions of the Imams, one of the students of the Imams was Hisham. He was such a young person that he did not even have a mustache yet, but he was a student of the Imam. He was that young. And he was an expert on aqaid, on theology. If a person from outside Islam was to come and debate with Imam as-Sadiq, he would say, debate with Hisham, he's enough for you. Or if a person from within the faith was to come and debate about the wilayah of the Ahlul Bayt, Imam would say, Hisham. Hisham, a young man, not even 20, is an expert in debating on affairs of religion. A point of note here. When we talk about debating in Islam, debating is not dishonoring and disrespecting the other side, but it is merely taking the idea, dissecting it to bits, and taking each and every piece and responding to it. This is debating. Unfortunately, the whole culture of debating in our cultures has changed as well. It's more like who can win the war of words rather than the war of ideas. Right? The culture of debating, according to the Ahlul Bayt, is that the haqq should come out at the end. The truth should prevail at the end. And if you are on the side of the truth, make sure you make truth prevail. If you realize that you are lacking, then submit when you see you're not on the truth. And correct yourself. Debating skills for the youth. Brothers and sisters, this is on the part of learning. On the other hand, Aimma alayhimus salam have a very important advice for those who work with youth. And this is very important. And this is, I feel, a responsibility that I need to convey. There are times when youths decide to no longer come to the masjid. Why? Because maybe somebody spoke to them in a way that was not very friendly. Or maybe somebody looked at them in a certain way that they did not feel welcome anymore, just looked. Youths are such that the Imam says, when you want to teach them something or you want to correct their action, if they have done something wrong, do it in a gentle way such that you leave them some room to come back. It's very important. What does it mean? Give them some space. Give them some breathing room. If you said, my dear, maybe look again at your action and just leave it there, they will get a chance. They're smart people. They will get a chance to think and they will realize their mistake. Automatically they'll come back. Rather than them being treated like very inappropriate, in a very inappropriate way. And if a person who is religious, who prays salat, who is a good role model in the community, but that person, a religious person, deals with the youth in an appropriate manner, that child will not only not like that person, they will not like what this person stands for as well. They will go away and they'll say, this person with all this salat, with all this roza, with all this wajibat that they're doing, and this is their akhlaq. What is religion then? Brothers and sisters, Ahlul Bayt have told us, deal with youth in a way that you give them some space while you're working with them, remind them gently, but also Give them some space to turn back. And one last point here that I would like to mention. When it comes to taking advice, the Imams say, go to two groups of people. And this is especially for the executive committee. When you want advice, go to two groups of people. And Imam, this is a hadith. I have the book right here. If you want the Arabic, I can share the Arabic with you. The Imam says, when you have a project, when you have an important decision, when you have an initiative that is for the greater good, make sure you take advice from two groups. One is the youth, the other one is the seniors. And there's a reason for it. But Imam says, first go to the youth. First go to the youth. Why? Imam says the youths have a sharp mind and they're quick-witted. They will look at your initiative, they will scan it from the beginning till the end and tell you all the different possibilities this project can go into. And they will give you ideas. Their minds work very fast. They will give you beautiful, bright ideas. And Imam says, take those ideas and then go to the seniors. And then go to the seniors. Why? Because the seniors have seen the world and they're very experienced. They'll take those ideas that the youths have given and they will skim through it and say, this will end up in a dead end. This idea will go forward, but it will be for the short term. That idea is a good one because it will lead the community to the long run and it will be beneficial. Two groups of people. But the first group are the youths. My dear brothers and sisters, our youths are our asset. And it is the spring of life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives all of us. And it comes only once. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Holy Quran, the Ashab al-Kahf were actually old people. Ashab al-Kahf, you probably all know the story of. The people, the men of the cave, right? These people were old men. They were advisors to the king. But when they go into the cave, they are called, as the Quran says, إِنَّهُمْ فِتْيَةٌ. They were youth. The Quran says they were youth. Somebody came to Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam and he said, well, Ashab al-Kahf, why does Allah call them youth when they were old people? Imam says, a person who has belief in Allah and in the hereafter remains a youth forever. Why does it say that a person, and the youth are looking at me now, and saying, well, thank you very much, Maulana, you have made our day. Right? Yes, there's another hadith that says that the companions, Ashabul Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, the companions of the Mahdi, Shababun, they're youths. La kuhula fihim. There's not a single senior within them. Well, no offense to the seniors, you're actually considered youth by the Quran, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Obviously, the hadith continues and it has a meaning to it as well. But the bottom line is, my dear brothers and sisters, our iman will keep us young forever spiritually. And that is what is important for our life in this world, going into the hereafter, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When we turn towards Karbala, we find a place full of youths and with youthful energy. But the peak and the most exemplified person out of all of the youths was none other than Ali al-Akbar. He was somebody that resembled the Holy Prophet completely in his looks, in his character, and in his way of speaking. Ali al-Akbar was such a person, so dear to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, that we find that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam had such a bond with his son Ali al-Akbar that when we look at even the way Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam has buried all of the shuhada, he put and placed all of the shuhada together except for Ali al-Akbar, where he took him and he buried him near the feet of Imam al-Hussein, and he is buried in the same dharih. The other two exceptions are Hazrat Abbas, who is buried separately, and Hazrat Hur, who is buried outside on the outskirts of Karbala. But all of the ashab, except for Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam and Ali al-Asghar, who is also buried on Imam Hussein's chest in the same grave, it shows the importance of Ali al-Akbar. Number two, how important is Ali al-Akbar? When we recite Ziyarat Ashura, we find when we say salams to Imam al-Hussein, As-salamu ala al-Hussein, we right away say wa ala Ali ibn al-Hussein. And we detach him from wa ala awlad al-Hussein. He's part of the awlad of Imam al-Hussein. Why do we say that As-salamu ala Ali ibn al-Hussein separately? Why? There's a significance to him. There is a great significance to Hazrat Ali al-Akbar. To that extent that one of my teachers was once telling me that Ayatullah al-Uzma Mar'ashi Najafi, he would, whenever he would come to the shrine of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, you have the option of looking at the zarih from 4 different directions. But he would purposely come and face Imam al-Hussein's zarih on the side where Ali al-Akbar is buried. And he would say, this son of Imam al-Hussein was so dear to him that if you stand and you have Ali al-Akbar between you and Imam al-Hussein, there is an impossibility that your hajat will be not accepted. It's impossible. Ask through Ali al-Akbar. And today we are here. We're standing, we're facing Imam al-Hussein in his majlis, but we're remembering Ali al-Akbar. And we're asking Mawla, O Mawla, we ask you by the right of your son Ali al-Akbar, who was so dear to you, that you could not part with him easily, but the most difficult person that you had to part with was Ali al-Akbar. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins and to make us on your path in this world and in the hereafter. Brothers and sisters, let's send our souls to Karbala and let's recite the salams to Imam al-Hussein. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdillah وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. All together. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. It was the afternoon of the day of Ashura. The Banu Hashim were left alone now. The 18 Banu Hashim gathered together and bid each other farewell. They hug each other and they cry. The ladies, I don't know what was going through them when they saw the men hugging each other and bidding each other farewell. But the first person from the Banu Hashim to come to Imam al-Hussein and to take permission was his only son, his eldest son, Ali al-Akbar. Ali al-Akbar comes to the Imam. The Maqtal says when Imam al-Hussein was approached by Ali al-Akbar, There's a difference now how Imam bids farewell. Whoever would come to the Imam would make them delayed from going into the battlefield. But when Ali al-Akbar comes, the Maqtal says, Imam looks at him, ثُمَّ نَظَرَ إِلَيْهِ نَظَرَ آيِسٍ مِّنْهُ. He looked at him with a look of hopelessness that he is never going to see him again. When he came and says, فَاسْتَأْذَنَ أَبَاهُ فِي الْقِتَالِ, Imam gave him permission, but then lowered his head and started crying. And he rose from his place. He looked towards the sky and he said, Oh Allah, Allahumma ashhad ala ha'ula'i al-qawm. Oh Allah, you bear witness on these people. فَقَدْ بَرَزَ إِلَيْهِمْ غُلَامٌ أَشْبَهُ النَّاسِ خَلْقًا وَخُلْقًا وَمَنْطِقًا لِرَسُولِكَ. Oh Allah, you bear witness that towards this qawm, towards this people, a child of mine, a son of mine is going who resembles the Holy Prophet completely in his looks, in his style and in his speech. And whenever we would be wanting to see Rasulullah and perform his ziyarah, we would go towards him. This is Ali al-Akbar. Ali al-Akbar now takes permission from Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. He takes permission from the ladies. How did the ladies give him permission? Only Allah knows. But when eventually he was granted permission from the ladies, he goes towards the battlefield. Now Hazrat Ali al-Akbar is the son of Hussein. He's the grandson of Ali. He now takes his sword and he is, even though he is thirsty, he cries out to the people, Ana Ali ibn al-Husayn ibn Ali. Nahnu wa baytillahi awla bin Nabi. I am Ali ibn al-Husayn, the son of Ali. We are the closest people by God to the Holy Prophet. Wallahi la yahkumu fina ibn al-da'i. We will not let, by God, we will not let the son of an illegitimate child make us submit. At'anukum birrumhi hatta yanthani. I will attack you with my spear till it bends. Adribukum bis-sayfi ahmi an abi. I will fight with my sword, defending my father. Darb ghulamin hashimiyin alawi. The strike of a ghulam, of a boy, of a youth from the Banu Hashim. Now Ali al-Akbar, he is attacking the enemies and they're fighting and running away from Ali al-Akbar. He kills many of Allah's enemies. He fights severely, and when he gets a break, he turns around and comes back towards the tents. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is watching his son fight. Now when he sees Ali al-Akbar come back towards the tent, he says to Ali al-Akbar, what happened to my son? What happened to you? He says, oh father, I wish I had some water. He says, Ya abati al-atashu qad qatalani. This thirst has killed me. وَثِقْلُ الْحَدِيدِ قَدْ أَجْهَدَني. And the heaviness of this armor has made me tired. فَهَلْ إِلَى شُرْبَةٍ مِّن مَّاءٍ سَبِيلٍ. Is there a way for you to get me a cup of water, oh my father? Imam al-Hussein cries out loud. The Maqtal says, فَبَكَى الْحُسَيْن. And he says, وَغَوْثَا يَا بُنَيَّ مِنْ أَيْنَ آتِ بِالْمَاءِ. Where shall I bring water for you, my son? قَاتِلْ قَلِيلًا. Fight a little. Inshallah, your grandfather Muhammad will feed you from the water of Kawthar. Ali al-Akbar, he is standing there. Imam says, if it eases you, give me your tongue, put it in my mouth. As the Maqtal says, when Ali al-Akbar puts his tongue in the mouth of Imam al-Hussein, he pulls it out immediately. He says, oh my father, your tongue and your mouth is thirstier than me. Ali al-Akbar says, he bids farewell to his father. Now when he goes towards the battlefield, He attacks the enemies. He is now a person that now the enemies have regrouped and they have now managed to come around. They are now planning to attack Ali al-Akbar, this enemy of Allah, Munqidh. He says, I wish to make your father cry over you. I will attack you in such a way that your father will weep over you. He comes forward and he attacks Ali al-Akbar severely with his sword. Ali al-Akbar cannot balance on the horse anymore. He attacks him with his spear. Ali al-Akbar falls and says, Ya abata alayka minni salam. Hada jaddi yaqra'uka salam. I see my grandfather here. He is giving you his salams. Imam al-Hussein runs towards Ali al-Akbar. When he sees him in this state, some narrators of historians, they even say, when Imam al-Hussein, he is on his way towards Ali al-Akbar, they take their swords and they start to attack Ali al-Akbar. فَقَطَّعُوهُ بِالسُّيُوفِ إِرْبًا إِرْبًا. They started to cut him into pieces and pieces. When Imam al-Hussein arrives at Ali al-Akbar, he puts his cheeks on the cheeks of Ali al-Akbar. He says, oh my son, after you there is no worth in this dunya for me to go on. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.